Welcome back once again. I am your host, Rafael Chaidez, the host of the Full Heel Podcast. Thanks a lot for joining me. Please hit that subscribe button for whatever you're listening on, YouTube, iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, or even on Instagram if you want to check out what I'm cooking, doing the keto thing, and trying out a bunch of new recipes and learning how to cook different stuff. I want to thank my guest today for joining me. I got Ryan in today. What's going on, Ryan?
What's going on? I forgot that I had a question I want to ask you all week, and I keep forgetting, so I'll ask you now in front of all your lovely listeners: is how much fish can Bobby Fish fry if Bobby Fish could fry fish?
You gonna get that shirt?
When I saw that shirt, it was tempting, man. It's so stupid, but so good.
Yeah. Their little gimmick is corny and everything, but they're really good wrestlers. So it's
I like them together.
Yeah, it works well with the crowd, and then the wrestling style really.
They have the old school. They have the old school like tough guy and the agile guy kind of like combined. It also reminds me of like the Hart Foundation back in the day. But but I digress.
So what have you been up to, Ryan?
Working like an idiot. I got Connor's birthday coming up on Wednesday, so I'm trying to pick up as many hours. So
nice, gotta make that cheddar.
That's it. Well, I gotta make it so I can spend it on him. Mm-hmm. You only turn 3 once, they say.
Yeah, I guess.
I guess.
I'm on the hunt for the turtles, so that's what I've been up to. Been hunting down turtles.
You check the sewers?
Yeah, I found Shredder and I found Splinter on Friday.
Master Splinter.
Yeah, so they for those people that don't know what I'm talking about, I collect action figures, and NECA's released Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the figures from the movies that look very, very realistic, and they did Raphael, Michelangelo, Donatello, and Leonardo the first wave, and now they've done Splinter, Shredder, and 2 foot soldiers. I'm just missing the foot soldiers. Hopefully I can find them.
I told Kara that I was like, oh, you got to see the ref got like a Splinter and a Shredder now to go with his set. I'm like, I got to go down to Chicago for a day and just steal from him everything that he owns. He just back the Brinks truck up.
Yeah, you're going to have to get a trunk.
Yeah, just start loading it up.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit in here.
This guy's got to know when no one's home. Just let me know. It's all good.
In like 5 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
You need some time. So we both wore Austin shirts.
Yeah. What?
What? But you did the Dr. Eggman mustache.
Yeah,
right? Is that what you're going for?
I went clean everything. I just everything's gone now. Yeah.
We should let it grow out all crazy. At the end of the movie, he had it all crazy and everything.
Yeah, start growing it out.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that. Someone's like, "Oh, you should grow it down and like twirl it." I'm like, I don't know if I can pull that look off. Like, I can barely pull this look off.
Yeah, barely.
Barely. I need to have a little more hair.
They were making fun of Mario the whole time because in this movie, Sonic can travel through different worlds through the rings, and he kept on not wanting to go to the mushroom world and saying how boring and dull it was that he didn't want to go get stuck with a bunch of mushrooms.
That's funny.
Yeah, so they kept doing that. But at the end, Dr. Eggman gets thrown over there, and
really?
Yeah, and he has the mustache at the end, and he's trying to get back to Sonic. So
setting up a sequel.
Yeah, and then if you stay for after, they set it up even more. They have Tails show up through one of the rings.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and he's like, I can sense his energy levels. He's got to be here. And then like he shoots up in the air and he like jets off too, like Sonic's powers.
Okay. So, yeah, because I heard that they said that the rings are explained in the movie, but like in the video game, you just collect them. Like you don't travel through worlds, right?
Yeah.
That's all you do is just collect rings and that's it. Mm-hmm. But
I remember he did travel through but I didn't remember like
it was like Mario with the coins, right? Like everything, you would have like a whole row of rings. You just collect them all as you would run past them, but you wouldn't like at the end of like a level you would transport somewhere else. But I don't know.
It was more about the Chaos Emeralds even later on. The Chaos Emeralds are what you were trying to collect, and that was the point of the game because that's what Eggman was after, the Chaos Emeralds. This one, Sonic wants to keep his rings because they help him travel through planet to planet because they're trying to catch him because he's got crazy energy, crazy power. That's why he's able to run super fast. That's why they want him. So, yeah. It was a good movie. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I want to check it out. I don't think the kids would get into it, so I'll probably have to wait to see it. But
I think they'll like it. It's a kids movie.
I don't know. They when I showed them the trailer, they didn't seem too into it. But who knows? I'll probably end up seeing something with them soon. But we shall see.
Force them to watch it, bro. No.
Yeah, you will sit here and you will like this.
God damn it! I want to watch the Aladdin one. I have it on Disney Plus.
Oh, it's so good.
The animated one? No, not the animated one.
The new one, right? With with Genie.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one, but I'm a sucker for like those like live action remakes. Like
I like Aladdin.
Badass.
Yeah, I like the Lion King. I like the rendition of it in the live action. The fucking lions looked real as fuck.
They do, yeah. Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, so we're gonna preview NXT Takeover Portland from last Sunday. But did you watch the fights yesterday or the boxing match at least? You said you watched it today, right?
Yeah, I watched the boxing, the heavyweight championship of the world fight this morning at work. Yeah, watched Tyson Fury just absolutely pick apart Wilder. Man, it was like I was telling you. Like I thought that Wilder was gonna lose. I thought Fury was gonna pick it up, but not the way that he did. I didn't see it being a stoppage. I thought he would just like get in, get out, and pick up a decision victory. Like you know. You're not expecting Deontay Wilder to get finished, right? I mean, it was
never happened.
No, I mean, going into the fight, I think they said it was like the second best record for a heavyweight title fight. It was because they were like 72-0-1 combined, or 0-2, sorry, and the other best record was like 75-0 combined. So like, this was like a big fight, and Fury just showed up and I think where he was 3 years ago, man, like on over 400 pounds, suicidal, after just beating Klitschko and stuff like that. Like you'd never think that he would have the comeback that he's achieved in such a short time frame.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. And just to change up his style for this fight and to come up with a total different game plan was impressive too.
I think the best Deontay Wilder looked was when he did the walkout.
Yeah, I was making fun of him. I thought he looked like a gay knight, like from back in the day. It looked cool if he would have gotten rid of the glitter, you know.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. But you know, I gotta believe Joshua watching that fight has to be pretty scared. As I don't see Joshua beating that Tyson Fury. Like,
and I think Wilder's probably gonna have to face Ruiz.
Yeah, I think that's the one that makes sense. But I mean, I think Deontay Wilder might want to stop talking about how he could finish Mike Tyson for a while.
In his prime, not just finish Mike Tyson, but in his prime.
Yeah. I think Mike Tyson right now, after watching Wilder last night, I think Mike Tyson now could probably give him a run for his money.
Mike still utilizes the fundamentals.
He does. When you see Mike Tyson today, not today, but they show videos of him walking into a store and someone's like, "Oh my God, Mike Tyson! Show me your stuff!" And there he is, 50+ years old, just
yeah,
his hand speed is still absolutely ridiculous. He's
dipping and diving and shit.
Yeah, I don't know, man. He's a different beast.
What?
Yeah, the only man that could stop him, Stone Cold.
Number one stunner. This MF spitting. So you want to get into it, Ryan, or what?
Yeah, we can start this sucker.
Cool. We've been doing watch-alongs, but today we're going to do a breakdown of NXT and just talk about it, let you know what we thought about last week's pay-per-view,
Still, these guys still every event they put on just manages to steal the show.
Yeah, how is this the best takeover since all somehow fans managed to say it was the best takeover since the last. Well, like sometimes they'll kind of just not flatline, but they kind of just table off, and they're good, but people won't talk about them. This one was one to talk about, and maybe it's because there was no other pay-per-view to compete with for over the weekend.
I think you also had like six matches, 4 title fights, plus you had Finn Balor and Gargano, and then you had a women's street fight. So it's like they packed a lot into that show. Like they made sure that every match counted. There wasn't any filler.
Yeah, and I don't know how NXT does it, but they know how to pace their matches. It's like they keep me entertained the whole way through, and it doesn't seem like they're trying to get too much in. It seems like it's just the right amount.
It's like whenever we do like random matches or stuff like that, we talk about how you see like some guys they try to back in like the 80s, early 90s, they used a lot of like the chin locks and the chokeholds, and it was just like eating up time. Whereas here, it's like they use a really devastating move or something, to like really give them that deserved little break. And it's something that like not to jump too far ahead, but that like the Finn Balor running across the tables on Gargano, like that was amazing, and that's something you don't see they keep it fresh. It's something you don't see every single event. Like WWE uses things over and over and over again to the point where it's just like, oh, okay, this again. Mm-hmm. Whereas NXT does keep it a little fresh.
Yeah, somehow it seems to be new, innovative, but they're doing a lot of stuff that's been done already, but they're doing it their own way almost.
Yeah,
and it seems
and even when you can see the build up, like it's coming, it's still like, oh come on, like that anticipation, and then sometimes you get it right away, and then other times you don't get it right away, and you're just like waiting, like, oh come on, like that would have been so awesome, and then they tease you another time, and then they deliver it on like a third or fourth, and you're just like, so it's like you're waiting like Christmas morning, you're waiting for that, you're waiting, and then boom, you get it.
What do you think about the first match was Keith Lee versus Dominik Dijakovic or Dijakovic? Dijakovic,
I think. So yeah, like
it was for the NXT North American Championship. This used to be a championship in Crockett Promotions. I forget where they ate it out from, but eventually when they were eating up a bunch of promotions, this is one of the titles that came along with it.
Yeah, and it just kind of like just laid dormant pretty much for the most part until they decided to break it out as giving like the NXT like a secondary title.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the UK became the UK, like that was the secondary one, but they're like, nah, we're kind of going to make it our...
Yeah, we're just going to keep that one like for NXT Europe kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing with like the women's title. They just kind of just keep those ones overseas, which is cool. Gives the fans something over there, something to see every single week when they put their shows on. So, So I think that it could be a little bit too much, but as long as they keep like the brands slightly separate, like Takeovers North American and Takeovers UK are separate, that's cool. Like it's not overloaded titles. So. Mm-hmm.
And NXT does have the women's and men's UK and tag team UK, so they have their own UK brand. Makes a little sense that they have the North American one over here. And like I've been preaching, little side note or little sidetrack, AEW and New Japan need to team up, and they need to bring that United States Championship over here and expose it to the United States crowd, solidify it as a United States Championship, solidify AEW with a secondary title that already has some lineage. It'll really help out that show.
Yeah, they need to do something there because they still have just the one title, right? Or the two. They have the women's and the men's.
Mm-hmm. And then the tag.
Yeah, so they definitely need like that Intercontinental or that US, like what WWF would have on their shows. They definitely do need something just to, because it's a nice like mid card title match or co-main. title if you depend on where you want to put it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you have champion Keith Lee versus Dominik. So Dominik is huge, but so is Keith Lee. Keith Lee reminds me of a bigger Daniel Cormier. No?
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah,
body frame and everything.
I was trying to think when I was watching this, like who he really reminds me of, and I think I was stuck on. I don't like. I mean, I don't know if it's like agility. Like he reminds me of like a larger D'Lo Brown from back in the day, like a much larger D'Lo Brown.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like I couldn't really put my finger on who I would say. But yeah, I think Daniel Cormier for body type, and athleticism was probably like the fairest comparison.
Yeah, Keith Lee. He seems like a video game character I would make. Super strong, but yet big. Just not.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't make him fat, but like I want him to do all the crazy moves, but I want him to have the agility of a fucking cruiserweight. But I want him to powerbomb you though.
But you want him also to look like like a real person, not just like everyone in wrestling is always just shredded, mm-hmm. like just roided to the gills. Here, like this guy's like, nah, you guys hit the gym. I'm gonna go hit McDonald's.
Mm-hmm. Like, well, here's a perfect example. We had Scott Steiner that had eventually stopped using the Hurricanrana, and in this match, very early on, like what kind of breaks up their initial face off of arm locks and pushing into each other off of the Irish whips and bumping into each other and trying to establish dominance. Keith Lee goes for a fucking Hurricanrana and lands it beautifully.
Mm-hmm.
But Dominik, like right after, also shows that he can do the same shit in what is it? Senton splashes to the outside onto Keith Lee, but Keith Lee catches him. These two guys are big. Like Dominik is like 6'7".
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Like these guys are gigantic doing cruiserweight shit, man. These guys are video game characters that I make. So now it's not unrealistic. So
you see, and it scares me because these are the kind of guys that Vince loves to have on the main roster. Mm. But when I see these guys, like I can think of like if they pulled these guys up to the main roster, like they're just gonna get destroyed. Like they're not gonna get like Vince is not gonna let them beat guys like the Fiend and like say the Undertaker or Chris. I had a whole list in my head. I'm drawing blanks now, but like Braun Strowman. Like he's not gonna let guys get over those guys just yet. Mm-hmm. So these I hope these guys stay in NXT and are able to continue to build what they're working on right now.
Yeah.
Because like if they get called to the main roster right now, I don't think that Vince would put them over the way they should.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. And Keith Lee, when he was brought into NXT, with his Bask in the Glory, Bask in his glory, they moved Bobby Roode up.
Bobby Roode.
Yeah, with Glorious, because it was a similar thing, and they kind of knew that they knew what they had on their hands. Well, NXT knew what they had in their hands. And then when we had the NXT versus the main roster thing, I heard a lot of rumors that Vince McMahon fell in love with Keith Lee on what he was able to do.
Well, like at War Games, at Survivor Series, at Royal Rumble, like the time when the eyes are really getting put on him, he shows up like, and it's kind of funny because it sounds weird, but just that little chin strap makes him look like before when he just had like the clean shaven look, mm-hmm. He looked really, really young.
Yeah.
Suddenly he comes out with like the goatee, the chin strap, and he looks like he just looks 1,000 times better. He looks like more marketable. You saw him at Survivor Series with the guy like with Team SmackDown and Team Raw, holding his own with like guys, Seth Rollins, McIntyre, Strowman, like all of this. You saw him at the Royal Rumble going with that toe-to-toe with Brock Lesnar. Like he's able to show up and put on an eventful match or a little segment of a match. But I don't I think the fans would get over him, but I don't know if Vince would put him over the biggest stars right away. And I don't want to see him get buried. And I don't want to see him end up like Lashley or Rusev, where they're put into a garbage angle, or they're just.
Lashley got beat by Ricochet the other day, didn't he?
Yeah.
It's just crazy. I could never think of that happening.
Well, they gotta get Ricochet for that title, right? They gotta show that he can beat the big guy.
Everyone wants Lashley Lesnar, and they're giving us Ricochet Lesnar.
Yeah.
There was an opportunity to do Lashley Lesnar. And they're like, nah.
Well, because that goes to the Royal Rumble when Ricochet helped get rid of him, so it's like a little payback time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm afraid that they're gonna pull some of these guys up after WrestleMania, and I don't want to see Keith Lee just get lost in the shuffle. I like where he is. I think that if they stick around with him in NXT, he could have some fun matches with Velveteen Dream, with Adam Cole, with Tommaso Ciampa, with Gargano, with Finn Balor. There's so many guys that he could have a good match with, and I hope that he gets the chance to have a solid 1.5 to 2 year run. Let Raw and SmackDown do their thing, run its course, and then bring him up.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
But again, he is 35, 36. So at the same time, it's like, got to kind of strike when the iron's hot. You don't want to be bringing him up at 38, 39 and hoping for the best.
Well, it's about time that they start treating NXT like a main roster brand as a SmackDown or a Raw. Just let them do their thing, man. Let them do what they're doing.
Let it be WWE's AEW kind of style.
Mm-hmm.
But just let it be like a smaller promotion under your banner, and put a little bit more money into it if you have to. Like the audience size is perfect, but just put just a touch more money into certain things, and you're fine.
It's your big time indie promotion. You know how indie promotions steal money from you, WWE? Let these guys be the indies, but you just promote them on a big fucking stage. You set up the stage, let them do their thing.
Well, especially when with all the rumors that Shane is being tapped to take over for Vince.
Mm-hmm.
Let Triple H loves NXT. He's he talks glowingly about these guys. He wants to see these guys succeed. Let him have full reign for 15, 20 years and just let him have fun there.
I am the game.
And look at what he's done with NXT. Between him, Dusty Rhodes, I guess William Regal in some senses, he was kind of big at the very beginning, but these guys have taken in about 5 to 7 years. They've blown this thing up.
No, yeah.
If they went from a reality show to can't miss TV, that's wild.
To can we please switch Raw and NXT from different days so I can watch NXT on Monday, I can watch AEW on Wednesday, and I can skip Raw.
Yeah. Well, AEW said that they want to go to Mondays. Cody Rhodes said, "Hey, maybe we're gonna go on." So there you go. You watch AEW on Monday, NXT on Wednesday.
Hey, I wouldn't mind it because Raw is 3 hours, so I'd watch AEW from 7 to 9, and then I'd tune over from 9 to 10 to watch the rest of Raw.
Oh yeah, there you go.
I wouldn't mind doing it.
Yeah, because they don't. Yeah, because I remember Raw used to be. They went from 9 to 11 to 8 to 11 to now it's 7 to 10 or whatever it is. They keep on changing all their times but
The 3 hours is long as fuck though.
That's Eric Bischoff said kill WCW, trying to fill 3 hours and then do a secondary show.
Yeah, then have a secondary show forced on you.
Yeah.
Again, AEW, if you're gonna do it, NXT New Japan would be a crazy fucking partner to have.
There you go. That if they had the possibility to do an invasion angle, like WWE tried and failed back 20 years ago, here's your turn. Have New Japan invade AEW, or have AEW invade New Japan. That can lead to New Japan winning something, and it could be the right to be on North American television.
How crazy would it be if AEW started invading New Japan, because they already have the established stars with fucking
with
Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks.
Yeah, you could definitely. That would be cool. Yeah, because then you could see how back in the WWE's invasion, guys would jump ship depending on where they started out and stuff. Yeah, but
they got something there if they really wanna. They really want to be a thorn in WWE's side, they could do something about it.
I think the smart thing for them to do if they want to do a second show is try to go head-to-head with SmackDown on Friday nights.
Ooh. What about a Saturday show?
I don't think Saturday shows do as well. When you get to college football season, when you get to certain playoffs seasons. I think that Saturday's too. And plus, if you want to do a pay-per-view on a Sunday, you're leaving yourself really tight for Saturday, Sunday back to back. But We gotta get some AW guys listening to us here. We're making millions off this. Yeah. That's copyright. I copyrighted everything I just said.
This match between Keith Lee and Dominik at times had me a little worried. The top rope spots.
I was about to say that I forget what Dominik's finisher's called there, but that it set the mood for the night with top rope finishers.
Mm-hmm.
But when he set Keith Lee up and he was looking wobbly, and I'm like, Keith Lee better lean towards the ring, because if he starts falling backwards, this is going to end up bad. Because you knew he could do it, but balancing on the top rope and trying to pick that big boy up, Dominik showed some strength there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there was a spot too where they go to the outside in between the two tables. Keith Lee sits Dominik down, and then somehow gets reversed position, and he gets sat down by Dominik. Dominik goes inside the ring, and I forgot if it was on the top rope or if he ran, or if he just jumped up and springboarded, but he senton splashed to the outside.
Yeah.
And hit Keith Lee. Like, for a big guy like that, jumping that far is crazy. Getting that type of air.
It's almost like the Undertaker.
Yeah.
Like when the Undertaker wants to before when he wanted to take flight, he could go.
Oh, man. I remember recently he did a breakdown for the Shawn Michaels match with him at WrestleMania where he jumps to the outside and fucking...
That's exactly what I was thinking of with the cameraman wasn't in place.
Yeah, and he hits his fucking head on the floor.
That was one of the Usos, wasn't it?
I
think Jimmy or Jay Uso was the cameraman. I might be wrong, but I thought that...
I don't know. I just remember when the Undertaker jumped out at Shawn Michaels and hit his head.
And he lands on his head.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, all that matters is he lands on his head.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow not crippled. Miracle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, and to see these guys being able to do so much of that shit was crazy.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I said, that was like the thing for the night. Big moves nonstop, and like just how.
Mm-hmm. They set the tone of the match. They got 20 minutes in for opening up. Keith Lee leaves as champion. He lands his, I think it's a sit-down powerbomb. That's his move.
Mm-hmm.
And he did the sit-down powerbomb, didn't go for the cover, picked him up from the floor again, and then went for it a second time, and that's what got him the victory, if I remember right. I think that's what it was.
Got to put the big man away.
Yep, puts Dominik down and out. Fuck, people yelling outside.
Got a fight going on outside, or
I don't know. Usually, there was a guy drunk the other day, like at 4 a.m. when I was getting ready to go to work.
At least it wasn't 4 p.m.
That probably would have been funnier.
Yeah, fair enough.
Half the guy was drunk. 4 p.m. No, but it really set the pace for the night, and it was gonna have to make everyone step up, which I think progressively it got better.
I was gonna say, I think the only match that I would say every match was at least probably a 4, except for the next one. I would give probably about 3.5, just because the finish, I was a little underwhelmed with the finish of the street fight. But I would say every match to me was like a 4 to 4.5 star, maybe a 5 in some cases, except for the street fight. I might say it was like 3.5.
Yeah, the street fight wasn't all that crazy. It was more of a for me. I like Dakota Kai, and it's been more of a storyline with her and Tegan Nox about their leg injuries. So Tegan Nox was in the Mae Young Classic thing, and she fucked up her knee, and they had like a whole spectacle where they came out and Triple H carried her off.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and they had like Triple H backstage, and he's like, "You're gonna come back. You're gonna come back better than ever.
Yeah,
don't worry about this." Just Triple H.
I tore both my quads. If I can do it,
I tore both my quads.
Let me tell you about this stuff called HGH. We don't test for it. We tell people we do.
Yeah, but she fucked up her knees during that match, and she was projected to go far in that anyway. She didn't get to go. Dakota Kai's been one of my favorites, but her babyface gimmick hasn't really hit too well.
Yeah.
She's like a striker. She's good with kicks. Apparently, that's her thing, and she's just a babyface, like from New Zealand. That was her thing. She turned on Tegan Nox at, I forgot what takeover, but it's when they had the War Games match.
I think it was just Takeover War Games.
Mm-hmm. So she was pissed. A little backstory. She was pissed because she was trying to be part of the War Games match, but they didn't pick her. They picked Mia Yim. Mia
Yim.
Yeah. And she got hurt and couldn't be part of it, so they threw Dakota Kai in. So when it was Dakota Kai's turn to come in, she was third from the team to come in and help her ladies. She turned around and big booted Tegan Nox in the face and started just fucking her up, and then she leaves. So it kind of left it at 2-on-4 kind of match thing. So that continued the rivalry, or that started the rivalry with her and Tegan Nox, and it all stems because she didn't get picked for the team. She's like, yeah, now you want me when you guys needed me, but when I wanted to be part of it, you guys didn't pick me, so fuck you. Here you go. Take this, Tegan Nox.
Old school story starter that still works to this day.
Yeah. So it cultivated to this, I guess the final match between them. I guess we'll see, but it's a hardcore match.
It's the end of a chapter, at least. Mm-hmm. Like they can still go forward with the story.
Especially if one becomes champion and the other one's popular, moves up to challenge. We could definitely see it again. They're young. All these NXT people are super young. Got crazy careers ahead of them. Well, not so much Keith Lee, but you know.
Yeah, some of those. I mean, Ciampa looks like he's 60.
Yeah.
But I mean, no, but yeah, like, there was a lot of good high spots in this match. I don't like. It was entertaining for what it was. I wasn't expecting like your hardcore matches and stuff like that, or from back in the Attitude Era. I wasn't expecting like your Kurt Angle, Shane McMahon street fight from King of the Ring. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I was I don't know. I get that it's NXT and I get that it's women, so you can't go. You know, you're not gonna be blading. You're not gonna have you're not gonna have chair shots to the head because it's like a CTE and stuff like that that's come up. But they told a good story. It was the best way to wrap up the chapter or the story, depending on where they're gonna go forward. Like with what's her name? Gonzalez.
Is she from? I thought she was from. I have no idea who she is.
She was from the Mae Young Classic.
Okay, so some big chick came out and
Raquel Gonzalez.
Raquel Gonzalez, and helped out Dakota Kai get the victory over Tegan Nox.
And it was the perfect way because you were kind of figuring okay, she's laying on the table with a chair on her neck, and homie's on the top rope. I mean.
They're not gonna kill her. Tegan, pronouns, pal.
You're watching. They're not gonna let this happen. But where are they gonna go? They're kind of spelling out interference in some way, shape, or form. Mm-hmm. But
there was nothing crazy about this match. It was kind of just your standard hardcore match, and I think it really helped it be in place of the pay-per-view and not really stand out as a shitty match. I think the hardcore aspect really helped it out. Dakota Kai attacking her in the beginning, not letting her get into the ring.
What I really liked was the being at the New Zealand connection and all that stuff. I loved how they went up with a cricket bat as well.
Oh yeah.
Instead of because they bring like a baseball bat or a kendo stick.
Yeah.
They broke. I like that a lot more just because it's like. Well, someone from New Zealand is not going to have a baseball bat; she's going to have a cricket bat.
Mm-hmm. I like how they did that because not a lot of people know how hard that bat should be. Mm-hmm. And I was like, "Oh my god! If she hits her in any way, form, or shape, it's going to hurt like fuck."
If she slips up just the littlest bit, it could be bad.
Yeah, I'm in a fraternity. I can tell you.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. But you had holes drilled through yours, right, for less wind resistance?
No, that would be savage.
Yeah.
Yeah, brother, that would be savage.
Just pay. Oh God, that would hurt.
Yeah.
But no, I mean,
that's
like
a paddling.
I thought it was a good. Yeah, that's a paddling. I thought it was a good match, except like I said, like that ending just fell for me. Like it was spelling out that it was going to be interference of some way, shape, or form, and it just like it felt lackluster. Just was like, we need to wrap this up really quickly. It's going to look really crazy, but it's not going to be crazy.
Well, that's why now I was kind of confused.
Thank you.
Right now, bacon?
Sour cherry.
Oh, God damn it. I told us where I was going.
Finish?
Oh, yeah, the finish. I stepped up on my words earlier because I'm like, oh, well, this is going to end the feud. And I'm like, well, it kind of doesn't really because of the finish. Someone came and interfered and pushed Tegan Knox off so they can somehow continue it if they want to.
They could go forward with like a... I keep on saying Raquel Pennington. They could do like a Raquel Gonzalez versus Knox, or they can do they can go Kai and Knox like in a cage of some kind. Like they have the ability to do a tag team match. Like they can build off of this going forward, or it could be just like have this girl be like a bodyguard or something, and like just keep on like maybe fucking with Knox in the build up, because I could see them doing something at Takeover the night before Mania, and they have enough time to really build something up. They got 2 months to build something there, so actually about a month and a bit actually, but yeah, like they going forward, if they just keep it like straightforward and just like have a one-on-one match, I think they can maybe no interference at the finish. It might be a lot better, but we'll have to wait and see, I guess, what they're going to
do. Yeah. I like Dakota Kai. I like her as a babyface. I like her even more now. But even she was kind of... she was selling the fact that she didn't know what was up with this girl attacking Tegan Knox. So maybe we'll get an explanation.
Yeah, I haven't seen NXT from this week, so I'm not sure.
I'm going to watch it today. I haven't had time.
Yeah, that was my plan for tonight was that, so...
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do after. Well, I'm gonna make brownies today. I'm gonna make good ones. Then I'm not gonna fuck them up today.
Yeah, like good ones or keto.
Keto, but they should be just as good, just not fucked up, not too much almond flour.
Oh, okay. The other ones turn out dry.
It's like I said. I don't know if I mentioned that. I didn't mention it here because I haven't podcasted with you. I don't know if I told you, but I was following a keto guy's recipes.
Right.
But he's like jacked, but so he's a meathead.
Oh, okay.
So he substituted protein in, and he's like, oh, if you don't have protein, just substitute more almond flour. So I saw how much almond flour he used, or how much protein he used, and I didn't use protein, so I substituted in almond flour. And then I looked at everyone else's recipes, and I was adding 26 more grams of flour than I should have been adding. And in baking, you can't do that.
No, you can't. You could have asked me. I could have told you that.
Yeah. Connor! What's going on? He can't hear me, right?
Yeah.
Hi, Connor.
Who is that?
Hi.
Okay, you're showing everyone that you're eating a cherry gummy.
I kind of want one now. But I had a bunch of gummies yesterday, so I'm good.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, ready?
I had a bunch on my cheat day.
2, 3. All right. Oh.
NASA? Was he wearing NASA pants?
Yeah. It's funny. He got these pajamas from somewhere. I just thought they were just like NASA.
Is that American, bro?
And then I saw everybody walking around wearing these like NASA T-shirts. I'm like, what the fuck is going on with NASA? Like, do I not know like what? Like, okay. Admittedly, I don't know what fashion is anymore or ever. But apparently, NASA is a stamp of approval for the cool kids. My kid's cool.
That's awesome.
But he'll never be stone cold swimming in the ring in a puddle of beer cool.
Yeah. Well, unless you show him all that and then buy him the shirts.
Oh, my wife has to go on vacation sometime.
Yeah.
What?
What?
Yeah. That would be what she says when Connor says, Mommy, guess what we did when you were away?
What?
Should be hitting me with stoners, never mind.
Yeah, so back to Dakota Kai and Tegan, or my brownies. The
Oh
brownies are
yeah,
gonna be good. Brownies are gonna be good, but
just,
yeah, no, I added too much
just gonna
flour.
follow the straight recipe kind of deal.
Where, I wrote down what he was saying, and then I saw his recipe, and then
Okay.
I since I wasn't adding protein, I just added more flour, like he said, and that was the thing to do. And then I looked at a bunch of other people's recipes. Everything was the same except the amount of flour because well they had the base amount of flour, but they weren't adding protein. So I
Okay,
had,
I see what you mean.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he misspoke or he just didn't because he's like if you don't add protein, just substitute more almond flour. So I'm like, oh okay, so I'll just substitute the amount of flour that he has
And I'm
protein in there.
like, and it's hard for me because like I could easily tell you like do this or that the other thing because I know break baking and breads and all stuff very easy,
Hmm.
but keto and different substitutions like there's different absorption rates. So the protein powder, if it has a higher absorption rate or a lower absorption rate, the amount of flour you substitute in could definitely alter all of that. So it's hard to say like if he does like 26, you might want to do like 13 or
Hmm.
maybe 20. Like it's like, you never know, right? Like it's like you kind of got to add just a little bit and keep on mixing until you see like a good consistency kind of deal.
Yeah, and then people don't
But
use stevia, and because stevia is super sweet for like a
mm-hmm.
little bit of amounts. So finding the conversion rate took me a while, like
Okay.
from Swerve and stuff like that. So like Swerve used like 3/4 of a cup, but for like stevia, you use 3/4 of a tablespoon
Right, right.
because stevia is
It is
fucking super
so
sweet.
much
Yeah.
sweeter, yeah.
So, but
But
today they'll be made right. I'm gonna have some good brownies. It's gonna be
nice.
awesome.
Right on.
Back to the match. Yeah. So the hardcore aspect's really what made the match, and the story. But
Yeah, I wouldn't have minded if they did a nice little chair shot to the head and it, maybe some bladed, but
mhm.
I see where WWE might not want that, but
Yeah,
I get it. I
the
get
pretty
it.
girls they don't want that. They don't want scars.
Yeah. They don't want the head looking like Dusty
Yeah,
Rhodes.
blame me up, baby. Hey, Dakota Kai, blame me up, baby. uh,
No,
yeah,
it was
imagine that.
fun. Like I said, I think the finish for me is just the only thing that really took away from the match. I would say it was probably like a 4 match overall, but good storytelling. I get the weapons aspect why they couldn't do certain things but yeah, the finish. I think if they had just gone with take away the chair, have her on the table, maybe she, if she were to move off the table and Knox goes through the table, and Dakota Kai just kind of like just rolls over and just plops her arm on and just gets the 1, 2, 3.
Hmm.
But well, yeah, like I said, we'll have to see where the story goes going
Yeah,
forward and what they're going to do with
and
Gonzalez.
if people think we're being too critical, at least for me, I think that was better than usually what they put on the main. No, definitely what they put on the main roster. Besides the Charlotte versus Becky match, or like
Yeah, if you're gonna put like what uh was it who was it at Naomi, right? She just came back, right?
yeah,
Yeah, like I think she had a match recently that I watched. And I was just like, eh.
yeah,
It was like if you once you get outside like of like your top performers, like even Bailey's matches are entertaining to an extent,
yeah. They're not
but
doing as
like
much as they can with Bailey.
yeah, like and you see like NXT's women division is, I'd say, like it's probably better overall than SmackDown and Raw, minus the star power.
Hmm.
Even though I think Rhea Ripley is like right on the verge of becoming the second biggest star in the
Hmm.
women's division outside of Becky Lynch right now, and even Becky's stars starting to fade after like this year plus run that she's had of building up the man character, the Royal Rumble, and all that stuff.
She's
Um,
got no one to keep her hot, man.
there's no, yeah, and that's the thing. At least like these like all the girls in NXT put on ridiculous matches night in night out. It's just eventually you're gonna have a match that's just not what you are used to seeing, and you're just gonna have a match where you're like, all right. But then, these two could have instead of a street fight, they could have a straight up match, and it could tear the house down.
Hmm.
So like the stipulations that they put into the matches also dictate dictate how the match is going to go too. So yeah, like I'm not crapping on these girls. I just think like street fight mentality. I'm used to a lot more brutality, and the finish I thought just was a little lackluster. Mm-hmm. But overall, like I think these girls are amazing performers.
Well, especially due to the fact that we don't know why she came in and interfered and helped Dakota Kai out. Even Dakota Kai doesn't know why. Right. Well, I guess we will find out on. We did find out on Wednesday. I didn't watch it.
Unless there was something like from like the Mae Young Classic that because I haven't seen that. Mm-hmm. So unless something happened there that I don't know about with Gonzalez,
I think they would have mentioned it though. No.
All I remember is that who was it? Beth Phoenix said something like, "That's Raquel Gonzalez. We saw her in the Mae Young Classic." That's all I remember them saying. So unless something happened where maybe she was eliminated by one of them, or I don't know, but I mean, we'll see going forward, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I think that these two, like I said, take away the street fight element, give them like maybe if you want to do a cage match, it might be a little iffy, but I think they have to do a match straight up with no interference, a clean finish. I think it could be a lot better. And that's not crapping at all on those girls.
Yeah. And they're hot. They're both hot.
So hot. Want to touch the hiney. We can still quote Billy Madison, right? That's not Me Too or anything like that yet.
I don't know. I don't know. If you don't want to get triggered, I wouldn't listen to yesterday's show. Finn Balor versus Johnny Gargano was the third match of the night, and possibly the match that stole the night. And it was just a regular match.
It's going to be hard for NXT to top that match by the end of the calendar year.
Mm-hmm. And it was a third match on a pay-per-view, Ryan. It wasn't even the startup match. It was the third fight.
It was unbelievable, this one. Like, this one set the pace for your women's fight, your tag team fight, your men's NXT fight. Like, this is like your little teaser, your appetizer. You're about to get ready for everything that's going to come your way, and they almost ruined half the card because it was so good. Mm-hmm. I want to go back and rewatch this fight as opposed to watching the rest of the cards at a couple of moments. So
it's like I think the guy sits back there. The guy Triple H sits back there, sees what he got in the matches that he's put together, and then he he's just there, just just mixing the order, putting them back and forth, because the way they set up these matches
because what you need to set this up so that, I mean, it sucks for Rhea Ripley, because if they had done this match before Adam Cole's match is forgotten completely.
Yeah.
If they put this match at the beginning of it, or if they put this match at the beginning of the whole card, then the whole card has to be like, oh shit, how do we follow that? You got to put this at the right spot, and unfortunately for Rhea Ripley, they put her fight after this one. I think they could have switched these ones and had the tag team afterwards, but these guys tore it down. Since Finn Balor came back, and he turned on Ciampa and Gargano, and then he turned on, and then he just is the lone wolf essentially. He's been phenomenal since he's been back to NXT.
Yeah, so his thing was Gargano's been calling himself Johnny Takeover, when Finn Balor's kind of what put the NXT,
he put NXT on the map, maybe. Yeah,
when he came in with his demon gimmick and his entrance, just that alone got me to start watching NXT. I was like, I need to start watching. This guy's crazy.
That was exactly what got me into it too. When him and Kevin Owens.
Yeah, Kevin Owens, him Samoa Joe, him Shinsuke.
Yeah, I
think it was him Shinsuke. Or no, Samoa Joe. Yeah,
it was. For me, it was the Kevin Owens and him. Those two guys going. That was what really drew me into NXT.
I think him and Shinsuke had a match right before that he left, or they were doing something, but he wasn't champion anymore. But they were still fucking with him there before he left.
Right.
But Yeah, no, his fucking gimmick was just crazy, and he doesn't even need it anymore. Especially if he's gonna wrestle like this. He's gonna play the heel like he's playing it. It's
Well,
awesome.
that's the thing with Finn. Like, he came out as regular Finn.
Yep.
People loved it. He came out as the Demon. Everyone loves it. He came out at one of the WrestleManias with like Pride, representing the Pride on his gear. Everyone loved it. He comes out as a heel. Everything that this guy does, people buy into. Like, he's so good at selling what he is trying to sell that he makes it work. He makes you believe in everything and that goes to show his character.
WWE just doesn't know what to do with him, and I love how they reference that in their actual promos. Gargano's like, he's like, I want I want the Finn Balor from NXT. He's like, if you don't bring the Finn Balor from NXT, or you bring that SmackDown or Raw Finn Balor, you're gonna have a bad night. And Finn Balor's like, you're gonna wish you had the SmackDown or Raw Finn Balor.
I love that.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I love the fact that they acknowledged it.
Because like a lot of people forget that Finn Balor was Universal Champion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was number one Universal Champion, and then just the unfortunate injury just crushed his main roster push. And it's since what, September, October, it ended up being a blessing in disguise, because now he gets to go and be where he should be and competing with, and it's not a knock to him getting over, it's just who he works with. Like, the guys on the main roster, like, if he tried to have that match with the Braun Strowman for a title, it would never go anywhere. But if you put a title on one of those, on Balor or Gargano, and have them put it on a match, it would blow the roof off of anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, those guys, that match could have headlined a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Like, and it would have been, it would be a 5-star, Dave Meltzer couldn't shit on it kind of deal. You know what I mean? Like, it was that good.
And it's not like these guys have been wrestling each other all the time. Like, this feud started when Finn went down and attacked Gargano. This is what this feud is led up to.
And that set Gargano out. Like, so like Gargano's been out of action for a while. Like, like, so it's not even like, like, it's not like it's a weekly mess around with the guy. Like, the mentality, like, get in there and cheap shot or something like that. Like, he was out of action with an injury caused by Finn.
Yeah, the 1917, I think it's called, the move.
1916,
where he does the DDT.
With the hook DDT.
Yeah, but he did it onto the ramp, onto the metal. So
yeah.
That's why Gargano was injured. But yeah, so they haven't even been wrestling, and backstage or whatever, or through NXT. I know they do have the Performance Center, and they do get to set up matches and get some chemistry going. But this match was put together fucking awesome, perfectly.
Mm-hmm. It was.
I think this is probably the match I broke down the most. Let me bring up my notes real quick.
Yeah, for sure. It was just, it was high spot after high spot. Like we talked about earlier, where when they would take time, like, as a breather, how back in the day it used to be like a chin lock or a sleeper hold or stuff like that. Here, these guys are doing fucking ridiculous shit, and you're just like,
back and forth transitions.
Yeah.
Finn Balor's doing heel shit when he's got him locked up, while, like, with his legs, he starts doing push-ups and stuff like that.
That took me back to, like, watching like the old school guys from, like, the 70s and 80s. Like the old school heel, like, all that kind of stuff. Like, even like the teasing turned to, like, 1916. Like, oh, here, like, you're just with, and then he fights out of it, or he reverses it, and
each one of them trying to steal each other's moves, and each one of them stopping each one of them, like, hey, I know what you're trying to do. That's my move.
Yeah.
That's my move. That's my thing.
Like that, and like the double drop kick to the chest, back and forth. They kept on. One guy would try it and miss. One guy would hit it. Then the other guy would hit it. Then the other guy, like, it went back. Like, they sold a phenomenal story in this one.
Yeah, I loved it. I love it. Like we mentioned, they start off early headlocks, rolling up, but it's just transition. Each one of them showing what they can do,
Mm-hmm.
Finn being the heel, and then they kind of moved to Irish whips, drop kicks from corner to corner, each one displaying what they can do. Finn trying to hit his signature stuff, Gargano avoiding it, Gargano trying to hit his signature stuff, and from there, the fucking Gargano spears Finn on the
Balor.
apron.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That was ridiculous. That was a good
it's
one.
just little moves that were, I don't know, that were just done really well, like that shit right there. They're both on the apron, but Gargano is crazy enough to go for a spear and fall to the outside. It sold really well because I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen it a bunch. Like I've seen that move. I think Roman Reigns does it a lot, but seen it done by Gargano on Finn. It's just different. I don't know.
Well, it worked with these guys because like they're it's not like a giant guy crushing another like it's two smaller guys that are doing this stuff, right? That helps it sell a lot better.
Yeah, and they're on the outside for a little bit. Gargano teases that he's gonna do the kicks through the guardrail, but then not Gargano. Then Finn comes in, throws him in, and he kind of just starts slowing it down again. Starts doing the headlocks, little psychology.
Mm-hmm.
Little ring psychology. Let's slow this shit down. We've been giving them. Let's slow it down with the headlock. But not a long time. They just do it to, bring it down a little bit. And it's the heel thing to do anyway. Heels aren't giving you their whole offense. Still good offense.
He put on some good offense, and but it wasn't enough tactic to prevent the babyface from being able to fight back.
Mm-hmm.
And once they got outside, like that's where it really started taking off. Like Finn started hitting a lot of his big stuff, and Gargano started hitting a little bit of moves here and there. They teased the 1916 outside a couple times.
For both of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think even Gargano's pointing that he's going to do it too.
A little payback for what had happened to him.
Yeah, and eventually Gargano does get the drop kick to Finn through the cage. Or is it...
into the barricade.
Yeah, into the barricade.
He launched him into the barricade.
Mm-hmm. And I guess it's...
Well, that kind of set up too. Like it was another... I think it was a reversal that set up Gargano into the barricade. Or maybe, no, it was off the table. Finn was he set him up on the table, and then he ran off the table and jumped to do his version of that drop kick to the chest.
Mm-hmm.
That launched Gargano off the table and into the barricade. That was like...
That's a crazy ass spot. That's some acrobatic shit right there.
That was ridiculous. Like watching him run across the table like that was I thought you knew he was going to go for something where it was going to be a running move, but you didn't know what it was going to be. I thought he was going to maybe put him through the table. But god damn, when he kept running, that was amazing. And just delivered right through.
Sidetrack a little bit. Did you see Shinsuke get put on the piano by Braun on Friday?
No, I didn't.
He started bleeding from the back of his head. The piano didn't break.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That there was a point in the main event that I'll mention when we get to there, but there was a moment where I thought that Ciampa was like legitimately injured early on because of something similar, but no, I haven't seen anything outside of a little bit of Raw here this week.
Let's see. Anything else on this match, Ryan? Before we get to the finish on the match.
No, overall, like I said, this match stole the show. Ridiculous action, start to finish. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I'm not gonna jump too far ahead. I'll let you take over. But yeah, like the finish, like the setup from that running through the two tables to do that drop kick and leading into everything was, I mean, no pun intended. To me, that was a coup de grace.
Mm-hmm.
Like no pun intended. That was like, it really was.
So on the outside, they're both teasing the sling blades or the slingshots or whatever from Finn Balor.
Yeah.
Finn Balor hits two of them, And then they go back to the inside, and Finn teases. Well, he doesn't tease. He goes for the coup de grace. Johnny escapes from it. Finn rolls out of it like he usually does. Eventually, though, Finn does hit the coup de grace, and then he hits the 1916 style DDT. And that was just kind of the finish. Clean finish.
That's 1, 2, 3 in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved the heel of grabbing his face, and the referee trying to push him. He's getting out, and he's like talking to him. And I basically sound like I told you this was gonna happen. Like all that the heel shtick that they do. Like I love that old school heel tactic. Like he's pushing. He's telling you like I told you. Like basically like to quote Omar from The Wire, "You come at the king, you best not miss."
What? I've never seen The Wire, so I don't know what you're talking about. You're crazy, Ryan. You got a fucking dart in your neck, bro. You're crazy. In my opinion, this match stole the night.
It's so far it's stolen the year, and I don't know, like it's gonna take something crazy to top that match, because I think of the no cage, no ladder, just two guys straight up fight. Mm-hmm. Like there was no gimmick. It was just two guys telling the story. Yep. So like that I think that's what really pushed it that much higher up for me.
And Finn leaves, and when he's leaving, he's like, whoever wants it can come and get it. Gargano, Matt Riddle, Ciampa.
I hope they go with Cole.
Mm-hmm.
I know that Cole beat him at was it the Takeover right before Royal Rumble? I don't remember. Yeah, I'm not sure. I know that Adam Cole beat Finn Balor since he's come back. I don't remember when, but I think that having Adam Cole and him have another program together and I think give Finn the title and like let him run rough over everybody. Why not
take over NXT again? Bring the club after he wins the title.
You know what you can do is you can even have bring him back the Demon and have him take on like the Undisputed Era can be around the ring, and he can take on Adam Cole 1-on-1 with the guys at the ringside.
Mm-hmm.
And now comes the Demon, and the Demon can just destroy them all. Make the Demon more like the Fiend, a bad guy demon kind of thing.
Everything turns red.
Yeah. There you go. Make it hard to see.
No, I like the Demon idea back, but
no, I like heel Finn. He's doing a great job with this angle, and I hope that they don't destroy it. I hope they're able to go forward with it for a while, and I hope they put the gold on him again. I really do.
Yeah,
he deserves it.
Yep. Yep. I love Finn Balor, and I'm loving what he's doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
The next match after this was Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair, and so it was a good match, but kind of coming into this match, you already knew what was going to happen. It was already dangled in your face. The carrot was already dangled that they wanted Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. Rhea Ripley's been calling out Charlotte, saying, "Hey, challenge me for my title."
Yeah.
Becky's kind of tied up with who's she fucking with right now?
She just beat Asuka, and now she's on to
Shayna. Shayna came in bitter in the back of the neck.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Shayna.
Yeah, so she appeared.
And they're setting up that for Mania, pretty much. That's almost and on SmackDown, Bayley's taking on Naomi. Coming back.
Yeah.
So
who won the Rumble? For Charlotte, the women. Oh yeah.
Charlotte eliminated Shayna to win it, and that's why she's saying, "Challenge me for your Rumble win."
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I'm high. Totally forgot about.
It's all good.
We just mentioned that 100%.
How you started the segment?
Yeah. So they kind of.
I kind of had that little fear, like in the back of my head. I'm like, I hope because that they don't put the title on Bianca, just to put it onto Charlotte, because I know that it's been talked about that Triple H wants Charlotte and Ripley, with Ripley winning, to help build her character and her star, and Vince wants Charlotte versus Ripley with Charlotte winning so that she can get closer, because he does want her to surpass Rick's record of 16 world titles. And in my head, I'm like, I really hope that they don't just do something stupid where they can keep Rhea hot by not having Charlotte beat her, but she has to lose the title to be like, it's, you don't really know what they're going to do, but the fact that at the end of the day, it keeps on being talked about Charlotte and Ripley, that you knew that Bianca was not going to win this one.
Yeah,
you just knew, like, one way or another. They have not talked anything about, even when the three of them were in the ring together, Bianca was the one who was just like, hand in the face, let the women talk, girl. Like, I mean, like, they kind of talked down to her a little bit more and that kind of stuff. Like, so yeah, it was a little. They did a good job in the match, but when you knew who was going to win, it kind of takes away.
Yeah, it definitely takes away. And it was more of like the athletic Bianca Belair versus the strong and ruthless Rhea Ripley. That was the story of the match. And the story of the match is Rhea Ripley wants to face Charlotte at WrestleMania. Yep. So, like, that takes a lot from the match. That kind of does a disservice to Bianca Belair. She's a great performer. They had a good match. But when you put that in front of the match, it kind of shits on it from the get-go.
Exactly.
And you have Rhea Ripley hitting her finisher when Belair was going up to the top rope.
And it was funny, too, because, like, they were teasing, like, that little top rope angle. And it was reversed and then reversed again. And then it was when Ripley reached up. I thought they were kind of trying to do like a low blow.
Yeah.
I thought she was trying to give her like a little shot to the female region.
You thought she was trying to feel her up? Trying to get her all hot and bothered?
Like maybe confuse her a little bit. Like, what the hell's going on here? Like a Mickey James back in the day.
She flicking my bean? What's going on?
Yeah. But so, like, when I saw the hand go up, I'm like, what's this? And then, of course, then she grabs her hand and finishes her up with the riptide and whatnot. But like I said, honestly, this match had potential to be really good. I think when you knew going in who the winner had to be, and the fact that they had to follow Finn and Gargano, that's too much. That hurts this match so much, and it's nothing against, like we said with the last match, like nothing against these girls. It's just they were just put in a bad position.
Yeah. Because this is a better match than main roster girls are putting on.
Yeah, and Bianca Belair, like at the Rumble, the way she had they had her destroying girls.
Yeah,
and like she set the record that Shayna Baszler later tied in that same Rumble, right? So so it's not like they're building her to be like an unstoppable force, but then they also say, hey, in this title match, it's basically Ripley versus Bianca with Ripley getting ready to face Charlotte. So what's the point? What's the point of having this match almost on the card? You know what I mean? Like, make it a tag team match. Make it like Charlotte and Ripley versus Bianca and somebody else, Naomi or so. Something just if you want, if you really want to do it, do something like that.
Yeah, because it does do a disservice to.
There was just no and the action was good, but it was hard to stay focused on it overall.
Yeah.
But
Agreed. But yeah, at the end of so Rhea Ripley picks up the win, defends her title, and then Charlotte Flair comes out and hits her from behind again. When they have this carrot dangled in front of you from the beginning of the match, it takes away from the match.
Yep.
And then it happened. Like, but we knew it was going to happen. We wanted it to happen. But don't put a strong contender in there like Bianca Belair if she's not gonna she's not gonna be able to do anything with it. It's like, hey, we're giving you a title shot, but you're not gonna win, and there's no hope. Like, even if the fans get behind you, it doesn't matter because we're setting up this match.
The best thing that they could have done was a cheap finish. Like, maybe Charlotte comes in earlier, and there's like like I don't know, like a chair shot or a title shot to the head. I don't know, just something that the referee doesn't see. Just so Charlotte purposely distracts it to let Bianca lose, so that Charlotte can get Ripley.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's ways around doing it. But yeah, it does hurt. I don't think it hurts Bianca's star power. I think she's still gonna get over. I think it just hurts her by putting her in an angle for a month that was pointless.
Yeah.
You could have done something else with her. You could have had, you could have done so much more. Instead of giving her the title, give her something different. You could have had her versus Shayna. Winner gets Becky.
Yeah.
You could have done that. Because if you know that it's gonna be Charlotte and that, like, if you take away if you had moved both Shayna and Bianca to the main roster, even if it's in a small time frame, and you're going to move one of them back down, say, listen, one of you two is going to move up to the main roster and challenge Becky. The other one's going to stay in NXT. There's your match. Like, you could have something like that, and you could have had both of them attack Becky throughout the month leading into this match. But I mean, it is what it is. They went with what they went with. Just kind of sucks that you had a meaningless month of build up for something.
Balor deserves better.
She does. Although it was funny. It was funny. Charlotte, she's leaving the ring. She's getting booed, like full heel. And my wife had come out just in time for that part to happen. She goes, "Oh my god, those people are so mean." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" They're like, "How are they just booing her? Like, she's a human." I'm like, "No, that's good."
She's a human.
I go, "No, that's good. Like, she wants to get booed."
Yeah.
What do you mean she wants to get booed? I'm like, "That means she's over."
Yeah.
What do you mean she's over? I'm like, "Oh god."
She's over what?
Like,
she's over like the whole situation.
Yeah, I'm trying to say, like, listen, she's a heel. She's the bad person.
Yeah.
The more that she gets booed, that means the more money's going into her pocket. So the more that people hate her, the better of a job she's doing.
How can they just boo her? She wants to get booed. That's her character.
Yeah.
She's playing the role.
Yeah, that's it. It's like when you watch the James Bond movie. You want to hate the bad guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm excited for that WrestleMania match. Vince wants Charlotte to win. Hunter wants Ripley to win. So it's going to be like the two Rams headbutting each other to see who wins out, I guess.
Charlotte needs to realize that putting Rhea Ripley is the right thing to do. Not only for younger talent, but for the brand extension, for WWE, for the whole company as a whole.
You know what? Have Ripley beat her once or twice, and then if they really want to keep Charlotte in NXT, put her over in 2 months' time or something.
Mm-hmm.
But Ripley can't lose at Mania. The NXT needs Ripley to get at least one big win over Charlotte before they take the belt off her.
Yeah. I wouldn't see the problem if Charlotte lost and then just stay on the main roster.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, I mean, if Charlotte's going to beat Rhea, then they have to do a rematch, and then they have to give the title, I think, back to Ripley, and then have Ripley defend it in the rubber match.
Mm-hmm.
And that means that you're going to have Charlotte off main roster for 3 to 6 months. Can they really afford that? I feel like they need Charlotte down up on the main roster a lot more than they need Ripley to get over.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I think Ripley's over in NXT already. Why put that fire out now?
Yeah.
Like, Charlotte can come back. Charlotte can go back to the main roster, and they could set something up with, like, you went down to NXT, you took a step back, and you lost. Like, that's a huge angle that they could build with, that could have her with Naomi, Bayley, Shayna, or Becky, whoever walks out of Mania with the respective titles. She can go back and it's like, listen, you may have won the Rumble, but you got beat at NXT. They're lower than us.
We gotta stop treating NXT like a feeder brand, because I even think about it like that too. Because of how they've programmed me to think about it. It's like, well, the main roster is struggling with the female roster, but the female roster on NXT is doing great. Why don't we bring some of them up? Why are we ruining that chemistry that they have together, that they've built together?
Yeah, exactly.
And then you throw them into the main roster, and then that chemistry's not there because now it's different people, different angles, and different wrestling.
Right.
Because they changed the wrestling up. They can't do the same things anymore. That no matter what the storyline is, their wrestling is what's getting them over. There's a story being told in the ring as well as the outside. And we might not like the outside of the ring, but the inside is definitely winning us over to a certain extent. And the main roster is not doing that. They're trying to get us over with story alone and then give us bits and pieces of wrestling. Superman punch here and there, a spear, and a win.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, going into with Shayna and Becky, that I don't like is, I think Shayna can be a great champion, and I don't know, like, everything you've worked at with Becky, I don't want to see Shayna just like pops up and within one program is the new champion. That's what they did with Ronda Rousey, and I thought that was garbage. I feel like they need to really. I feel like they need to build these. If they're going to bring them to the main roster, build them up with a couple other storylines before you give them a title shot. Don't just have Shayna be this dominant NXT champion, be phenomenal in the Rumble, and now boom, she gets a title shot. Because there's girls that have been on the main roster that you could argue deserve the shot more, and you could give Shayna a little bit more time in the light,
a little bit more seasoning.
Yeah, like let the fans get to know her a little bit more outside of NXT. Like, let a lot of fans don't necessarily watch NXT, so let them see her outside of the Rumble and outside of like 2 Raws or something like that.
She does have friends, and there are tag team championships.
Yeah, there you go. And the WWE and women's tag team division is not being utilized the right way. You have the well.
I don't even know who the champions are. I think it's the Kabuki Warriors.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay. When was the last time they fucking defended them or fought together? But to be fair, I think
TLC maybe.
I think Kairi Sane is injured. I think she had a concussion.
She wasn't in the Rumble, I don't think. And if she was, I don't remember.
She had a concussion.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll see. We will see.
All right, let's move on from that match.
Yeah.
Next.
And now we can talk about how much fish can Bobby Fish fry if Bobby Fry could fry fish.
So we have the Broserweights. So we have the King of All Bros, Matt Riddle, and the Bruiserweight, Pete Dunne, for those of you guys that are wondering why the weird name. It's a combination of the Bruiserweight and the Bro.
Yeah, the original Bro.
Yeah, the original Bro. And they're taking on the Undisputed Era, the champions, Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly. And the Broserweights are getting a title shot because they won the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, baby.
I was hoping you were gonna do the voice.
So they have the championship with the Dusty Rhodes boot at the bottom of the trophy thing. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And the NXT, they just do everything right. NXT just knows how to do tag team wrestling. I don't know how Pete Dunne and Matt Riddle know how to vibe so well and combine so much of their movesets that they do all the time into their repertoire right away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right from the beginning of the Dusty Rhodes Classic, they just gelled. Like, I don't know if maybe like if they were given a heads up, like, hey, we're gonna put you guys together, and they just went off and just did their thing or what. But since day one, they've been entertaining as hell.
I wonder if they're real. To me, it seems they're probably like real friends. But like, at least they started to be. They started to form a friendship backstage. Like, they're cool with each other, and it's kind of showing even in their promos. It seems kind of weird, but weird in a funny, entertaining way. Where Matt Riddle is the bro trying to be funny, and you have Pete Dunne super serious, doesn't want to open up at all, and just like, yeah, whatever.
It reminds me a lot of Rock and Sock.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, that's like Mick Foley
and The Rock, yeah, like how Mick was Mick was serious, but like that Rock, this is your life segment. That's what I see every time every time Matt Riddle comes out and he's doing something stupid like the Bobby Fish thing. I see Mick Foley bringing out the clown and the teacher and the girlfriend, and then Pete Dunne just sitting there, his cold face, just getting ready to kick ass. I see The Rock like kicking each and every one of them out of the ring, one by one by one by one. I love the fact that these guys at least have they have similar gear too.
Yeah,
like they're doing a good job of getting these guys over together.
I don't know if their gimmick would work if they weren't such great wrestlers. Like the Broserweights thing?
Yeah.
If they were just funny, it's just they're such good wrestlers that puts it over so well. You can take the comedy aspect because they're serious wrestlers.
They both have great gimmicks that are so polar opposite, and their nicknames both gel, and they, like you said, they gel. Their moveset gels. Everything works like perfect between them. Yeah, like if they were missing one aspect of that, I don't think it would work out as well as it is.
Yeah, it's like a perfect combination for those guys. It's really weird. But I wonder what Matt Riddle's thinking though, because he's fucking putting his career at jeopardy with the whole Goldberg and Brock Lesnar thing.
You know what's funny is I was thinking about that too, but I feel like with them putting this title on him, it kind of shows that he's gonna be I feel like there was something set or done.
Spoiler alert over here.
No, I feel like with the moves that they've made, giving them the Dusty Rhodes, giving them a tag team, giving them the title shot, giving them the title, I feel like they are kind of saying listen, we're gonna go forward with you, just smarten up a bit.
Yeah, I hope they give him a chance. But Matt Riddle's kind of a guy that's like, fuck your chance, I'm doing what I want to do.
Yeah.
Maybe AEW's in his future. Who knows? Well,
I was reading something about even their drug testing. Triple H was I guess backstage or something. Oh, that's what it was. Was it Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne snuck on his plane to get to Portland? And Triple H had joked about how his private jet was so smoky and he couldn't figure out why. And it's because they finally found out that Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne, who I guess I didn't realize that Pete Dunne was a big smoker, but I guess both of them just
maybe that's why they're buds.
Love the gun.
Maybe that's why they're buds.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's a change from the Broserweights to the buds.
Yeah, to the smoke. I don't know.
Smoke Mickey Bottoms.
Yeah, I don't know. I got nothing. I had a brain fart. I tried to come up with something on the fly. Nothing.
No.
Awesome match. Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne pick up the victory, pick up the belts. I forgot how it ended.
It started off with the Pete Dunne hit Matt Riddle outside the ring. Matt Riddle's on the apron, he got knocked off the apron. Then Matt Riddle accidentally hit Pete Dunne, and it looked like maybe they were just miscommunicating or something. And then it was a double enziguri, and then they pinned Fish. But they were kind of teasing miscommunication on both those guys was going to cause them to lose, but they ended up recalculating it and back on track, and double enziguri I think they knocked O'Reilly out of the ring and then they pinned Fish.
Okay.
But there was a lot of good double team action throughout this entire match.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't remember what double team move sequence they used, because they were using a lot of knees to kicks where one would kick one in the back and the other guy would kick him in the front or to the head.
Yeah.
It was just a lot of that stuff. Or
they did a lot of that, and they also did a lot of they did the double enziguri a couple times throughout the match before the finish. But yeah, no, It was a good match. Like at one point, it looked like they were just going to like steamroll through the Undisputed Era. And then it looked like, okay, and they're going to keep the belts on them. But they were also kind of teasing backstage, like with Roderick Strong, that such a big night for the era, that both their titles are on the line. He just lost his title. Mm-hmm. Like they don't want to end up with no titles to finish the night. So what was going to happen? And then the miscommunication or something with and then just double team finish on Fish. And got the pin.
Yep. So that takes 2 titles, or I guess 3 if you count the tag titles as 2.
No, that's one. That's one.
Yeah. So you take all the titles except the main event one now, which the main event one will be defended after this one. But the Undisputed has lost almost all their titles in a matter of months. But they were dominating the whole.
But they had after they who was it? I think with the tag team was the last ones that they got, or was the North American last one they got? But they got them like last summer, and they've had them for a solid 6-month run as everyone having the title.
Which I think was a smart move. It kind of let everyone else's storylines carry on behind them, mm-hmm. and they were able to.
And it also kept people wondering, like, are they going to put these guys into the main roster?
Yeah. Or
are they going to leave them in NXT because look how strong they are? You didn't really know what was going to happen back in September when AEW launched. But it worked out well. They had and there's still enough of an angle that you can have these guys have another fight. That these guys can go back and do it again.
Yeah, there's been a lot of shenanigans. So
yeah,
we're gonna have it go on again. The match after this was the main event for the NXT Championship. Not even Heavyweight Championship. They took that off. Just the NXT Championship. Adam Cole, baby. Champion taking on Tommaso Ciampa, trying to get back Goldie. Ciampa never officially lost Goldie because of the neck injury. He had to drop it in a very emotional NXT thing.
And I mean, neck injuries, those are career enders, like Stone Cold ended up losing his career eventually because of a neck injury. Edge eventually lost his. Mm-hmm. You never, it can be, you can have successful surgery, but you could also, Ciampa's lucky that he has the career right now. You know what I mean? Just because you have a successful surgery doesn't mean you get your career back.
Yeah.
And seeing him jump off the cage at War Games kind of makes you think like, okay, he should be fine for at least a few years.
Yeah.
So,
I've been watching Ciampa since the Cruiserweight Classic, maybe a little bit before then because I was watching NXT.
Was that with the DIY days?
Yeah, it just had started, just barely had started, and they went into the Cruiserweight Classic where they had just had a couple matches. Maybe in the Dusty Road. No, after this they went into the Dusty Roads and won it, I think. But they had a couple matches. Him and Johnny Gargano as a tag team. They go into the not Mae Young Classic, into the Cruiserweight Classic, and they have to face each other, and they have a fantastic match.
Yeah.
And Gargano beats Ciampa, and Ciampa at the end of the match is sitting in the middle of the ring like fuck. And then Gargano goes sits by him, and you're like, what's gonna happen? And then he kind of just rubs his head, and then it kind of leads into them being a tag team and ultimately struggling to win the championships. But DIY really picks up steam, and they put the titles on them. They have a fantastic run.
I mean, and those guys are gonna be best friends.
Yeah,
probably forever. I don't see them ever splitting up ever again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, me neither. I loved it. And then me and my brother bought tickets to NXT Chicago, and they fucking lost the titles, and it was sad. And then Gargano turned, or Ciampa turned on Gargano.
Ciampa turned heel.
He threw him into the Titantron and beat the fuck out of him, and it was crazy. And then Ciampa somehow avoids Gargano he avoids from fighting Gargano, wins the title. Gargano's trying to get at him, but Ciampa gets injured, gets the neck injury, and has to drop the title.
I mean, and he had been the champion for the better part of a year.
Yeah, and they were playing it off to where they were bleeding it out to where we were gonna get Ciampa Gargano, and they were like playing out the storyline, and then this guy had to go on neck surgery, so we didn't get that.
Then they end up with the Adam Cole Gargano angle, which eventually leads to Adam Cole getting the title after 3 different matchups, which leads you into the War Games with Ciampa coming back and all that stuff, and then and now here we are.
It's quite a good story if you followed Gargano's and Ciampa's story, and where they've come up to now and where they're at now. The Undisputed Era hasn't even been that long in NXT.
No, they haven't.
Let's see. So where was I going with that? Adam Cole and this guy, Tommaso Ciampa, put on a awesome match.
There was the one part in this match, like Ciampa just dominated the early part, and then when they went to the outside, it was Adam Cole did like the German suplex into the table. I thought he was trying to launch him onto the table, and when Ciampa's spine hit the edge of the table, and he goes down, and he's just like sitting there like in shock kind of thing, like holding his head. I legitimately thought that like that fucked up his back.
Dude, how many times did Cole focus on that part of the upper back / neck area to where he was hitting him with knees? He was just fucking him up in that area. We were like, hey, dude, calm down. This guy just came back from neck surgery.
I actually thought that it was more the back injury until Ciampa was holding his neck. I'm like, but his neck didn't hit anything. I'm like, oh, okay. Because his back, like the way his back hit the table, like, he went like straight back on the thing. Like it looked rough. But then, like, then you see that he was just selling the kayfabe neck. But
I like how Ciampa gave it back to him though later on with the powerbomb.
Oh yeah,
nice powerbomb on the table. But it was really good offense on both of them. I think the only thing that made the Finn Balor one more, not more better, but I liked it better because this one had
the clean finish.
Yeah, the clean finish. I respect the clean finish. I like the entertainment aspect and what the story of this.
I don't care if it's a heel or face. I don't care if I like the guy or not. If it's a clean finish, I usually will respect it a lot more than and depending on where the story goes. I like that it wasn't the style of a dirty finish that you were expecting. You know what I mean? Like you think that the Undisputed Era is going to be responsible for Ciampa losing,
and he almost is. They come out and they interfere
when they all
a little
come
bit.
Out, you're like, oh, okay, they're going to keep it on Cole, but he fights them all off. He hits Cole. He hits Roderick Strong a couple times. He gets Fish and O'Reilly. Like he gets them all.
And he's able to kick out after Adam Cole comes in and
hits him with his finisher a few times.
Yeah, hits him with his finisher a few times, and he just doesn't know what the hell's up. He doesn't know what to do.
And then even Ciampa hit his finisher, but the ref was down. And that's when Cole went for the belt. And then, Ciampa reverses something, and the belt's laying in the corner. And Ciampa sees it, and he's like, well, he was going to do it. I might as well.
Yeah, because the referee got taken out, too.
Yeah.
Cole pushed Ciampa into the ref. I think he hit him with a low blow too, or something like that.
So, yeah.
But he recovers though. He recovers, and doesn't he hit his finisher?
Yeah, he hit the finisher and
the double arm DDT piled.
Yeah, because he went for the pin, but
there's
no ref.
So then, is that when he goes for the belt?
That's when he saw the belt and he was crawling for it, and Johnny G stopped him.
Yeah, Johnny Gargano grabs it and he pretends like he's gonna give it to him, and Ciampa's.
Well, he gave it to him.
Well, yeah, he did give it to him, but Ciampa's like, "You're gonna give it to me? You're gonna give it to me?" And then Gargano pulls it away, and he's like, "What?" And then he clocks him with it.
And to me, it was such an oversell. I get the whole they've been going at going at it for half an hour, so they are going to be exhausted. But the way that Ciampa like falls back and he rolls over, it was a little too much selling for me.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been better if he just got hit and just fell back, and Adam Cole crawls and gets the pin. Instead of him rolling all the way to Adam Cole.
But you love The Rock after the stunner when he fucking flopped like a fish 3, 4, 5 times.
That I didn't really care for that.
What about Scott Hall's where he popped
that one I can dig.
7 feet in the air? Boof.
That one I can buy because Scott Hall got stunned to hell.
Or to heaven.
But yeah, like I just feel like the finish was just a little hokey.
Mm-hmm.
I think it could have been a lot better, especially with what these guys did throughout the entire match. But yeah, it was fun. It was entertaining. Leading up to that point, a lot of good high spots, top rope finishers, outside action. Like there's a lot going on in that match.
Yeah, and Gargano comes out with the DIY shirt, so that's what kind of made it like what.
Yeah, and you start thinking like, oh, he's gonna help him out,
mm-hmm.
And then Gargano just like slowly walks away while Cole and everyone's celebrating the ring.
Yeah. I hope you guys are listening, but if you guys haven't seen this, I would suggest you guys go back and watch this NXT Takeover. Watch any of the NXT Takeovers and listen to any of the NXT Takeover reviews that I've done with Ryan or I've done myself. I have a couple of those up. Ryan, you have any last words on this pay-per-view? It was a fantastic pay-per-view, A+.
Once again, NXT just delivers. Like I'd say, it's another A to A+.
It's DiGiorno, just so you know.
Yeah, they like I have like a couple low marks I would say with the women. They just weren't utilized right, or they just fell in the wrong spot.
You misogynistic prick.
Hey, that's what I bring to the show.
What?
But no, I thought it was a great match. A lot of good talent in NXT, and I'm happy that they're getting the chance to shine. Yeah, I can't wait to see what goes on leading into their big Tampa takeover in April.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited too.
Mm-hmm.
I need to either watch the Ruthless Aggression era or catch up on NXT after this.
I watched the first Ruthless Aggression after Takeover. It was fucking good.
Was it good? All right, cool. That's what I'm gonna have to check out then. Thanks a lot for joining me, Ryan. Where can they find you at on Twitter?
No Twitter, Instagram.
There we go. That's what it is.
Instagram, it's r.dempstarts.16. I still got to put up some posts for Bread by Ryan. That's a new one there. Facebook and Facebook page Bread by Ryan. If you're interested in seeing some good homemade bread.
It looks delicious. It looks good as fuck. He puts olives and like cheese in it.
Yeah, I'm working on cornbread for this week. I gotta put up some different kind of breads and stuff. Try to steer away from just doing the same basic stuff,
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I'm working on some fun things over here, and just getting ready for the big party on Wednesday, the big 03 for little Connor.
Nice. Thomas said happy birthday.
He'll get a present in the mail, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's it, man.
All right, cool. I want to thank you, Ryan, for joining me. Doing another breakdown or preview, whatever this is. I'm ripped. I'm ripped. All right, Ryan.
See where we go to next.
Yeah. They did a request. We'll see if we do it.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like a Nitro or something, or Raw, old Raw.
All right, cool. Yeah.
This one was too good to pass up.
This was but when we were trying to figure out if we wanted to do a chamber or what, and we thought, you know what, yeah, we got to talk about this because this was too good to pass up on.
Yeah, and check out Full Heel Podcast on Twitter, iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean. I think that's it. Yeah, all that stuff. At
Give
Full Heel Podcast.
5 stars.
Yeah, 5 stars on iTunes really helps out. I've seen it. A couple of people have really helped out, done it recently, and if you've done it, thank you. Really helps out the show, and we'll see you guys next time on the Full Heel Podcast.